Hi, I'm Lisa McLeod, and I'm here in Nepean, my hometown, and I'm with a friend of mine, Jacqui Vital. And Jacqui is a former Nepean resident, and she lives in Israel right now, and she wants to speak to Mark Carney. And I'll let Jacqui tell her story in her own words. But on October the 7th, Jacqui was in Canada when she got a call no parent wants to hear. And she rushed back to Israel. Jacqui, welcome home.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell? Yeah, it is good to be home. I think you've had a rough couple of years, but you have been speaking. Now, I didn't tell anybody right yet what happened on October the 7th, but it was tragic.
Yep. October the 7th, I'll tell it from what happened to me, because I was here. I was in Canada. I was in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I saw a red alert on my telephone. My phone was from Israel, and I didn't understand why. And I called my husband, who happened to be on Kibbutz Cholit, on the Gaza border, and asking him why. And he could only whisper. He told me he was in a safe room, that there had been missiles fired over from Gaza into Israel, and there were terrorists all over the kibbutz. After that, he said, I can't talk. I can't take the chance that they might hear me. We only had 2 voice messages between us, and that's all I knew. This was at 6:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
Ottawa time. I went upstairs to turn on the news like everybody else did in Canada. And the pictures that we saw at the beginning were just the terrorists riding on up and down the fence at the Nova Festival, kidnapping people, killing people, burning people. I had no idea that it was all over the Gaza envelope. I thought it was just local. And I said to my sister, something bad is happening.
And your sister in here in Nepean was one of my constituents when I was an MPP.
Right.
Your sister lives right here in Nepean.
I said to her, something bad is happening in Israel, and it's right near, I have 2 daughters that live in the Gaza envelope. I said, it's right near where the girls live. But I thought that's where it was. It was only hours later that we knew that it was all over. 20 kibbutzim and moshavim. The next few hours, I'm a registered Canadian at the Canadian Embassy in Tel Aviv. And I got a letter, an email saying, if you think you're in trouble, call this SOS international number. I was due to go back to Israel on October the 8th. And during the morning of October 7th, I got a message from Austrian Airlines that they canceled my flight from Vienna to Tel Aviv. So all these little messages were telling me that this is something bad, not just, it was really something.
Yeah, I mean, and you're used to, in Israel, dealing with conflict on a daily basis.
All the time.
Yeah.
But
this
were
was
warning signs, like this is something really important. And it wasn't until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Ottawa time, that my husband called me. So say from 6:30 to 1 o'clock, I had almost no information.
Yeah.
No one was calling me. No one was telling me what was really happening because they didn't want to worry me.
Yeah.
I had a few friends that told me that they were texting with my husband, but again, nobody was really telling me what was going on.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock, my husband called me and he said, they can't find Adi.
And Adi is your daughter who
Adi's my daughter,
grew up here in
Nepean. She was in her safe room with 2 small sons.
Yeah.
One who was 3 years and 9 months and one who was a 6-month-old baby. They were alone in their safe room. After 7 seconds, when they hear an alert, they have to go into the safe room and not come out until the army says it's okay to come out. So they never came out. But when the army started fighting back at Cholit and they went from house to house, when they checked Adi's house, they couldn't find her or the children. They did find a dead terrorist on the floor who we found out later she managed to fight. Yaron said we can't find a D. So I called the SOS number and I said, my daughter's been kidnapped because a D was also Canadian citizen.
Mm-hmm.
One of the 8 Canadian citizens who were murdered on that day. And when I called SOS International and said she's been kidnapped, they said, how do you know? I said, because they can't find her. And that's what was happening that day.
Yeah.
If you couldn't see a body, then where were they? They were burned or kidnapped.
Yeah. And so you're here in Nepean.
I'm here in Nepean.
And you're not getting as much information. You know, your husband's
information.
Your husband's in a safe house. All of a sudden, your daughter and your grandchildren are missing. And you're helpless because you're a world away.
I'm a world away. And when I called in SOS, they said, okay, someone, an RCMP officer will call you in a few hours.
Yeah.
That was the help, the initial help that I got. But I didn't know anything. The officers did come the following morning, and they were amazing. Who wasn't amazing? Government.
Yeah.
I knew that on Sunday, October the 8th at 1:00, that at that point there were only 3 Canadians who were reported missing: Vivian Silver, a D, and one of the boys. I don't remember which one of them, but I know that Prime Minister Trudeau had a meeting. He was told about these 3 Canadians, and nobody called me. Nobody called me.
But you told me about a year ago, we had some breakfast here in the community, and you said, when she went missing, I knew. You instinctively knew. Nobody had to tell you. You just, as a mother, that intuition, that came really straight through.
Right away.
Yeah.
When they said they can't find her, the 3 days that we thought that she was kidnapped until the IDF discovered her body booby-trapped in the safe room. The house where we were waiting, everyone was waiting for some news because we didn't know what else to think. It was like a Shiva house, but the person hadn't died yet.
Yeah.
People were just coming and going. It was just in the air.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say it out loud that I knew.
It just was a feeling.
Yeah. Gut.
And
total gut.
And then you had that feeling.
Like,
and then,
why bother? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just felt it. And I remember you telling me that. And then on top of all that, the horror of not knowing where the boys were.
Well, but at the same time, when he said we can't find a D, it also meant we can't find the boys. They weren't in the house. So, and Yaron always says that he didn't see any blood. So he said, what else was he supposed to think? That they were taken away. And so when he said we can't find a D, it was also we can't find the boys. But a few hours later, a miracle happened.
Yeah.
And for some reason that only God knows, Al Jazeera cameramen were in the house with the terrorists right after they murdered a D. And there's a famous picture, it's international, of the terrorist holding these 2 little boys. It was filmed in her living room. The terrorists holding 2 little boys, then they take them out to the porch, and it's all on film. I've got it on my phone. I can watch it anytime.
Yeah.
The older boy had been shot in the foot. A bullet went through his foot. So the terrorists are bandaging his foot. The other terrorist has the baby on his shoulder, patting his back, and then they put him in the carriage and they're rocking him. And then the next frame is a terrorist sitting in front of my almost 4-year-old grandson. He's like shell shock, right? He's just seen his mother murdered, and the terrorist is holding a cup. And he says to him in English, say Bismillah, which is like a blessing in Arabic. So Negev said Bismillah, and the guy says drink, and then Negev has a drink of water. And while they're filming, the text is saying, look at how great we are. We're taking care of these boys.
Yeah.
And then they kidnapped them with Adi's neighbor to Gaza, to Rafah, and just before the tunnels, they tell them to go back. They tell the neighbor to take them back. And she didn't know that all this time it was all being filmed. I mean, there's footage of all of this.
Yeah.
And of Negev standing on the border by himself. Anderson Cooper on Monday night, October the 9th, aired this on CNN.
Wow.
And imagine me, I knew the story already because it happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
But I'm watching this on television and I see my grandson standing on the sand in Gaza on one foot because he'd been shot in the other.
Oh.
And I see this woman coming to pick him up and walk away with him. It's like,
you just want to go through the camera at the time to pick them. Yeah.
That's Negev.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that somebody filmed it.
Yeah.
And it's not a fairy tale.
No.
It happened.
And so now the children, I mean, Adi has been murdered, but as my husband always says to me, Adi took out a terrorist. She's a hero for that.
Yes, she is. She's a lioness.
Yeah, she is a lioness. I love that. And then she was a lioness who had 2 little lions who survived this. But that takes a toll when you're a little kid and
Yes.
your mommy's not there anymore, and you learn that your mommy left this world.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
She was gone.
Yeah.
That's what he told his father. That he used the word drill and not gun because that's what Adi taught them.
Yeah.
And he said that the terrorists tried to drill his brother, the baby, and that his mother wouldn't let them, and she drilled them back, and then she was gone.
Wow.
Because she told them to close their eyes.
Yeah. And Adi would have been with the kids, probably in Nepean this week if she were still with us, because she frequently came back to stay with her cousins.
Yes.
And spend
she grew
time.
up here in the summertime.
Yeah.
She went to day camp, to sleepaway camp, all based in Ottawa. Every summer she spent her summers here.
Yeah.
Yesterday was her birthday. She for sure would have been here. My kids, part of their life is Ottawa.
Yeah, and actually, what people don't know right now is we're here at family's house in Nepean, and the family's coming together. And so this is a normal thing when you come back home, is to be in Nepean. I want to shift gears for a second, Jacqui, because you and I have been friends a while. I'm friends with a lot of, my daughter went to school with your great nephew and all of these things. It's a small community. And you said to me, I'd really like to talk to Prime Minister Carney. And you weren't aware that Mark Carney is the member of parliament for Nepean.
I didn't.
Because, you live in Israel now. And so I said to you, and your family said, yes, Mark Carney is our MP. And then I was looking for a phone number for him, and I don't think he's got a constituency office set up, yet he's making this grand pronouncement that we're going to recognize Palestine even without returning the rest of the hostages, without a governance plan in place, without any types of reforms, without removing Hamas, and not even considering how the geopolitical situation will be in the Middle East with respect to migration, immigration, more refugees, that sort of thing. And it really got me thinking how horrible that must be for you and your family here in Nepean, knowing that their MP not even is inaccessible in making a decision without the folks here, but he doesn't even have a phone number where we can call for you to have a conversation. And how do you feel about that?
Helpless.
Yeah.
We're back to square one. No, nobody wants to help. Does he even know? Does he even know my story?
I don't know.
Probably not. I mean, there's just so many people. There were 8 Canadians murdered.
Yeah. By terrorists.
By terrorists on October the 7th. And so many people don't know that it happened. Never mind who they are. They just don't even know that it happened.
What would you say to Mark Carney if we could get a phone number for him and could tell him about your story? How would you start with it? What would you say? And I mean, I guess the issue for me is this is not abstract. This is not just something that's happening in the Middle East that really doesn't impact us, because this does impact us. A family, one of the families from our community is suffering as a result of those Hamas terrorists. We have to take a stand. So does he.
Well, he has to know that there's a whole lot of Canadians that live in Israel. And what we see from far and what I read on social media, I'm part of an Ottawa group. I'm part of a Toronto Jewish group. I'm part of IC Vancouver. Everybody is scared. And what is this going to mean for us?
Mm-hmm.
And what's it going to mean for you, meaning people living here in Canada? It's frightening.
Yeah, and
it's frightening, and it's disgusting. And I mean, I said a year ago when I spoke to Prime Minister Trudeau, that was just when they revoked the UNRWA. They weren't paying them, and they gave them the money back. And I said, why are you doing this? Like, why aren't you taking care of us? We're your citizens. And we're not getting any help.
Yeah.
And so many people want to leave Canada. They're thinking about, should they move?
Well, and I mean, where we're at right now, no secret, the two of the largest Jewish populations in Ottawa are in Nepean. Yeah. We're in one of those areas right now. And every night, the local park becomes a breeding ground for pro-terrorist sympathizers.
Yes.
Because it's close to a Jewish community. They're not coming into my neighborhood to do that. They're going into your neighborhood, your sister's neighborhood, your cousin's neighborhood.
But I think they live here. I don't think they're just coming special. I think they live here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not here.
But you know, they're not targeting my community like they're targeting yours. And I think that level of intimidation is disgusting and sickening. You and I, when we last saw each other in person, we talked quite a bit by text and WhatsApp, but you said, I said to you, what can I do? And the only thing you even asked me to do was say Adi's name and make sure I told her story, which I try to do as often as possible. If you could tell one thing about Adi to Prime Minister Mark Carney, what would it be?
What her professor at Ben-Gurion University has told us over and over again. She graduated with a master's degree in solar energy with honors. She had the highest grade that he ever gave anyone in the last 25 years. And that her loss is not just a loss for the state of Israel, but it's a loss for humanity.
Yeah.
And every person who I have met in the past 22 months who knew Adi has something new to tell us all the time of what an incredible person she was.
Yeah.
And not just because of her smarts, but because of her being.
Her humanity. How old would she have been yesterday?
35.
35 years old. Died a hero. She died a hero.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll conclude now, but if you want to look right into the camera right over there, Jacqui, this one here, and just let Mark Carney know that although we appreciate his service to Canada, his international decisions have an impact on us here at home too.
They do. They do. They do. Listen to us. Listen. Yeah. Just listen.
Yeah.
And change your mind.
Yes, change your mind. Jacqui, it's so nice to see you again. I know this is a very tough time, but one of the things that I love so much about you and your remarkable resilience is, although, as your grandson would say, Adi is gone, she really hasn't left. Her humanity is everywhere. Every time I come into this home, every time I see you, every time I talk to any member of your family,
Oh, yes.
I know that you feel her presence, and may her memory be a blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since I can't find a number for you in Nepean, Mr. Carney, I'll wait for you to call me.